This is the Yay or Nay Show with Alex C. A sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. And now, here is Alex C.
Okay, here we go. It is another typical Monday. A lot of stuff to get into today. Yay or Nay Show with Alex C. starting right here, right now. Okay, a couple of days ago, you had a Harris County grand jury decide not to move forward with criminal charges against Deshaun Watson. Of course, now there are NFL ramifications in regards to that. A lot of stuff still to discuss when it comes to Deshaun Watson. We will get into that. But first, before we move forward with today's show, I want to read to you some of the comments that I found in regards to the fact that, once again, Harris County is not going to move forward with criminal charges against Deshaun Watson. And I want to read some of the comments that I have been watching come up on this little board here that I'm looking at. One of the comments is, I hope he never suits up for the Texans ever again. They tried to ruin this man's life because he didn't want to play for an incompetent organization. I have another comment here. It says, the guy was out for a full season. The NFL has no grounds to punish Watson. He should be allowed to play. Whatever his off-the-field civil cases are, he and his attorneys can deal with that. The case was dropped. Let's play ball. Got another comment here. And all of them that I've read, as I'm getting ready to read some more of these to you, seem to be in favor of Deshaun Watson moving forward. No penalty from the NFL. Let's play ball. That seems to be the theme of all the comments that I'm reading here. And I got to admit, I'm a little surprised about the comments that I'm reading, but I'm going to continue to read some more of them. Another comment here says, the Texans definitely tried to end my man's career after requesting a trade with them. Fake allegations. The dude already sat out a whole year. Ben didn't have to do that. No suspension for Watson. Got another one here that says, Deshaun Watson is back, and that year off is going to help him immensely. Houston Texans quarterback will only get a few games suspended. It's overly hyped, and the owner of the Patriots should have received a reprimand as well. Got another one here. This one I find really interesting. It says, so NFL had videos of Ray Rice punching his wife and only gets 4 games before TMZ broke the video. And now Deshaun Watson does nothing and gets a 6-game suspension after voluntarily sitting out a full season. The NFL is embarrassing itself here. I could go on and on and on, but here's the thing. I get it. No criminal charges. Congratulations to Deshaun Watson on that. I got no right in any way, shape, or form to make an opinion on that. I don't. But I think the misconception that people are getting in this deal is, even though there are no criminal charges being filed against Deshaun Watson, that doesn't make the allegations fake or false. That doesn't mean they're not moving forward with a case against Deshaun Watson in the civil courts. And there's a lot to still unravel in regards to the legal aspect when it comes to the problems that Deshaun Watson is currently facing with 22 women making allegations against him. I am not here to try and say that Deshaun Watson is guilty. I am not here to try and say that Deshaun Watson is innocent. But I think people are misrepresenting the fact that they are not going to move forward with criminal charges in saying that the allegations are false, unprovable, unproven, and unworthy of moving forward legally against Deshaun Watson, because none of us, myself included, has all of the facts to be able to make that determination, and they haven't released any of the information that they went over in the grand jury. And I still say there's a lot of there. 22 women, that's a lot of allegations. Big Ben, by the way, paid off the girl to make his problem go away. So some people would say that paying women off is an admission of guilt without them having the ability, because of NDAs, to come out and say that you were in fact guilty of what you were being charged with. So There's still a lot of there in regards to this whole situation. But no criminal charges are going to, again, be pressed against Deshaun Watson in regards to his situation with 22 separate women making allegations against him. And that's all I have to say about it. Again, because it's not my place to say guilty or innocent. I am just surprised that everybody's acting as if Deshaun Watson's legal issues are in fact over, because I'm not an attorney, but I'm not convinced that they're wholeheartedly over with. But again, looks like everybody's ready to move forward with Deshaun Watson. Looks like everybody's ready to make a trade for Deshaun Watson. My understanding is a lot of offers have already been made to the Houston Texans for Deshaun Watson. We'll go over some of that here in a minute. But before we do, we got to kind of stay into the legal aspect of football for a quick moment. Lawyers for a woman suing Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. We talked about this last week. The client isn't money motivated. So let's talk a little bit about this particular story. So lawyers for the 25-year-old congressional aide who was suing Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones released a statement Thursday saying their client isn't motivated by money, but instead wants a judge to toss out an agreement that attempts to prohibit her from stating who her real father is. The woman, Alexandria Davis, who lives in Washington, D.C., was not motivated by fame or fortune when she filed her lawsuit on March 3rd against Jones, alleging the billionaire is her biological father, her lawyer said in a statement. Ms. Davis's lawsuit does not seek the recovery of money, wrote Davis's lawyers, Andrew A. Bergman and Jay Gray of Dallas, in a statement released to ESPN. Ms. Davis's lawsuit seeks only to have a court declare that she is not bound to an agreement entered into that attempts to prohibit her from stating who her real father is. Surely, anyone can understand this need of a child, no matter what age, to have the ability to say they have a father without the fear of reprisal. Look, I don't know about you, but I said this last week, and I'll say it again. I believe Jerry Jones needs to be reprimanded for this absolute pathetic behavior in regards to denying his own daughter the ability to say that she, in fact, is his daughter. I am, again, taking liberty in assuming, and let me make sure I put that out there as a disclaimer, I am taking liberty in assuming that it has been proven that she is, in fact, Jerry Jones' daughter, which would explain why he's paying her and her mother an exorbitant amount of money and has an NDA in place so that she cannot tell everybody that she is, in fact, his daughter. Why else would he have the NDA if she was not, in fact, his daughter? So I think that this type of behavior is reprehensible, and supposedly the NFL is against this type of behavior. And if they are, there needs to be some kind of a reprimand against Jerry Jones. They're doing it to the owner of the Washington Commanders, so why would they not do the same thing to Jerry Jones? I understand he is one of the most powerful entities in the NFL, but again, his behavior is reprehensible. You claim the same thing about the owner for the Washington Commanders. I don't know what is so different with Jerry Jones and the owner of the Washington Commanders. They should take action against Jerry Jones because this is absolutely slimy. It's pathetic, and it makes me lose 150% of respect for Jerry Jones. I have zero, zilch, no respect for Jerry Jones as a human being in any way, shape, or form. And I am shocked and surprised that the social justice warriors of the sports media doesn't seem to have a problem with the despicable action of Jerry Jones. Again, I get it. It would probably go against their bottom line if they started talking negatively about Jerry Jones, but that just shows you that the national media is nothing but a bunch of sellouts. Max Kellerman, Colin Cowherd, Joy Taylor, Keyshawn Johnson, J-Dub. The list goes on and on and on and on from all of you who are Dallas Cowboy lovers. And, oh, they can do no wrong. Oh, Jerry Jones has a daughter and he's got an NDA to make sure that she can't say it in public. That's not bad behavior. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to see there. Yeah. Okay. But yet you guys are constantly telling people what they should think, how they should think, and how you are social justice warriors and you are so there for everybody and you so support women so much, but yet not supporting this one at all. It's amazing. I find that really interesting. Social justice warriors, supposedly you're so for women getting better jobs, better positions, better opportunities, more income. Oh, but your rich daddy who happens to own the Dallas Cowboys, he doesn't want you to announce that he's your daddy. Yeah, that's okay. Well, we have no problem with that as the national media. Yeah, we're okay with that. Yeah, bunch of hypocrites. Once again, the hypocrisy is as obvious can be. That's why I have no problem calling you hypocrites out for being the hypocrites that you are. And you should be embarrassed to look at yourselves in the morning with all the crap you talk every day, especially some people like Max Kellerman, always running your political mouth, always stating your political ideals, but yet you mean absolutely none of them, because this is proof, right here of how you embarrass yourself every day, that you stay quiet, not talking about this topic, not defending this woman in any way, shape, or form, because you are not true to your word. You guys only give lip service when you think there is a financial gain or a ratings gain that could be made by giving the lip service and saying you believe in the crap that you do not believe in, because it's just a bunch of lip service. This story proves it. You're not talking about it. You're not on this woman's side. You've done absolutely zero to help her in any way, shape, or form by getting the information out there that Jerry Jones is doing this despicable act by having an NDA that stops his own daughter from being able to say that she's his daughter. That's all I got to say on that, but I just find that hilarious. Again, here's my point to this stuff. This is why I rail against this kind of stuff on my show. Let me be very clear. You should not take political or moral advice from me. Let me be first and foremost upfront about that. You should not look to me for political advice. You should not look to me for advice at all in general. But at the same time, while I'm telling you, don't look at advice from me in regards to, what your values should be, don't listen to these clowns on TV who run their mouths talking all this crap, saying all these things, acting as if they have all these morals, acting as if they care so much, when this is one, and I've already done I don't know how many shows where I've proven how many times that they could put their money where their mouth is, but they don't, because right here, not talking about this, not railing against Jerry Jones, not talking about the garbage move on Jerry Jones' behalf. This is not saying how this is below their so-called high standard of values that they're always preaching to you on a daily basis. This is why you shouldn't listen to them and their garbage, because them and their garbage is about giving you lip service when they think that there's a hot topic that can get them ratings, when they think that there's a hot topic that they could somehow financially gain from. If there's neither one of those two things available to them advantage-wise, they're not going to talk about it because they do not believe in it. Do your own research. That's the key. Do your own research. Read as much as you can. Watch as much as you can. Get as informed as you can. But don't listen to these sports media clowns who try to give you all this advice and tell you how you're supposed to think about being vaccinated and all that. But yet, they're only giving you their political point of view that they don't necessarily subscribe to. Because again, here's another perfect example of the national sports media's hypocrisy. A woman who can't even announce who her dad is because the owner is using his money, his wealth, and his power to silence her. But they got no problem with that in the sports media. Those guys with all those big morals. Yeah, okay, whatever. Remember, Do your own research. Make your own decisions. Don't let me tell you what to think, and don't let those clowns tell you what to think. That is the point of me railing against them every time they do something that shows you that they're not sincere about what they say. All right, moving on. MLB Free Agency, lot of moves. As we all know, spring training starts on Thursday. MLB has a hot stove, and they're off to a scorching start. They got a lot of moves being made. Let's talk about them right now. So Braves to the Athletics, they make Matt Olson a blockbuster deal. The Atlanta Braves and the Oakland Athletics are in agreement on a trade that will send star first baseman Matt Olson to the Braves for outfielder Christian Pache, center fielder catcher, I don't know where I got center fielder from, catcher Shea Langelier, and Ryan Cusick and Joey Estes. Another deal that we got going on here is the Philadelphia Phillies. They add Hand to the bullpen. So left-handed reliever Brad Hand and the Philadelphia Phillies are in agreement on a 1-year, $6 million contract. On the 13th, another deal was made. Nelson Cruz signs with the Nationals on a 1-year deal. Designated hitter Nelson Cruz and the Washington Nationals have agreed to a 1-year, $15 million deal. Here's another one for you. Former MVP Josh Donaldson headed to the Yankees. This is a big one. The New York Yankees have acquired third baseman Josh Donaldson, catcher Ben Rortvelt, and shortstop Isaiah Falefa. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Hopefully I am. The team announced on Sunday night Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela are headed to Minnesota in the deal. There's another deal here. Reliever Brad Boxberger returning to the Brewers. Boxberger and the Milwaukee Brewers are in agreement on a 1-year, $2.5 million deal for the right-hander in return. So, to return, sorry. Cardinals, they added a reliever, Nick Whitgren. The St. Louis Cardinals added more depth to their bullpen by bringing in veteran reliever Nick Whitgren. The 30-year-old Whitgren was 2-9 with 1 save and a 5.05 ERA in a career-high 60 games for Cleveland last season. The Twins get Sonny Gray from Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Reds announced they have traded RHP, right-handed pitcher, Sonny Gray, and minor leaguer pitcher Francis Peguero to the Minnesota Twins in exchange for Minnesota's prospect Chase Petty. The Cubs agreed to a minor league deal with Jesse Chavez. The Chicago Cubs have signed Jesse Chavez to a minor league deal that includes an invitation to big league camp, adding the veteran reliever after he had a strong year with the champion Atlanta Braves. Rockies agree to a 1-year deal with Jose Iglesias and Alex Colomé. The Colorado Rockies have agreed to 1-year contracts with right-hander reliever Alex Colomé and shortstop Jose Iglesias, all but closing the door on a return of free agent shortstop Trevor Story, who is set to become the latest big-name player to exit the Rockies. March 12th, Jordan Lyles. Orioles agree on a 1-year deal with pitcher Jordan Lyles and the Baltimore Orioles. They finalized a $7 million 1-year contract. The Mets acquire all-star pitcher Chris Bassett in a deal with the Athletics. The New York Mets and Oakland Athletics have made a trade, sending right-hand pitcher Chris Bassett to the Mets for 2 minor league pitchers. White Sox added Josh Harrison and Joe Kelly. The Chicago White Sox have reached agreement with infielder Josh Harrison and relief pitcher Joe Kelly, according to multiple reports. The Blue Jays land Yusei Kikuchi on a 3-year deal. I hope I said that right. Yusei Kikuchi and the Toronto Blue Jays are in agreement on a 3-year, $36 million contract. The Rangers send Isaiah Falefa to the Twins. Catcher Mitch Garver headed to Texas. The Minnesota Twins and Texas Rangers are in agreement on a deal that will send shortstop Isaiah Falefa and right-handed pitcher Ronnie Henriquez to the Twins. Sources familiar with the situation told the 4-Letter Network. Reliever Steve Kischek is heading to Washington. Clayton Kershaw returns to the Dodgers on a 1-year deal. Carlos Rodon signs with the Giants on a 2-year deal worth $44 million. The Cubs and Andrelton Simmons reached a $4 million deal. And Drelton, hopefully I said that correctly. I believe I did. Rangers bring back Martin Perez for a second stint worth $4 million. Drew Verhagen joined St. Louis Cardinals. There is a lot of stuff going on. And it's only going to get bigger and better with baseball again because you have camps starting on not camps. You have games starting on Thursday as far as spring training goes. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. This is like just boom, information flowing and hitting fast. Yesterday we got bombarded moving over to the NFL. Tom Brady changed his mind. Not going to retire after all, coming back for his 23rd season in the NFL, boosting the odds for the Buccaneers as far as their Super Bowl aspirations. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that one. Time will tell. I don't know. I personally, am not a big Tom Brady fan. He's not exciting, but let's face it, the guy wins games. The guy is the greatest of all time. There's no arguing that. Look what his postseason results are. But this is the big story everybody's been talking about all morning long. I personally don't think this is the biggest story, which is why I'm dropping it where I'm dropping it now. But again, Tom Brady changed his mind, returning to the Buccaneers. Of course, everybody's talking about all the different reasons why he may have retired, who forced him to retire. Was it his wife? Was he feeling a little guilty for not hanging out with his kids like he should have? All that doesn't matter. Who cares? Bottom line is he's out of retirement. He's coming back. It is what it is. NFL trades. We talked about Major League Baseball trades. Let's talk about NFL trades. We got a lot of them. So the Cardinals reach a deal to bring back Colt McCoy. The deal is a 2-year deal worth $7.5 million. The Rams agree to re-sign center Brian Allen, returning to the Rams on a 3-year, $24 million deal. Wilson and Wagner, could they be teaming up in Denver? There are rumors that could be happening. Time will tell. Nothing official as of yet. The Seahawks are re-signing tight end Will Dissly to a 3-year deal worth $24 million. Inside linebacker Campbell re-signing with the Packers. That is a 5-year deal worth $50 million. Houston is re-signing safety Brooks. Houston is re-signing safety Terrence Brooks on a 1-year, $2 million deal. The Bengals are re-signing defensive tackle B.J. Hill to a 3-year, $30 million deal, including a $15 million 1 year. So I'm telling you, moves left and right. Baseball, NFL, there's no lack for movement right now. This is a lot of fun. The Titans are re-signing center Ben Jones to a 2-year contract worth $14 million. Former Titans guard Rodgers Saffold is signing with Buffalo. That is just breaking news actually right now. No details on that one. So I guess we don't have the details. We'll be getting those soon, I am assuming. The Jets are re-signing wide receiver Braxton Berrios on a 2-year, $12 million deal that includes $7 million fully guaranteed. Hassan Reddick agreed to a 3-year, $45 million contract with $30 million fully guaranteed with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Jaguars are giving former Cardinals wide receiver Christian Kirk a 4-year deal worth up to $84 million. Slater. The New England Patriots have reached a deal with special teams ace Matthew Slater to return for his 15th season with the team. The deal is for 1 year with a $2.62 million fully guaranteed contract. San Francisco 49ers free agent guard Laken Tomlinson intends to sign with the New York Jets. A source told Adam Schefter that he is going to sign a 3-year deal worth up to $41.2 million. The Bengals have agreed to terms with former Patriots offensive lineman Ted Karras on a 3-year deal worth $18 million. Lions reach an agreement with their safety Tracy Walker on a 3-year, $25 million deal that includes $17 million guaranteed. Washington Commanders guard Brandon Scherf plans to sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Seahawks have agreed to terms with free safety Quandre Diggs. That keeps their top free agent and defensive playmaker in Seattle. Now he gets $28 million over the first 2 years. The deal is for 3 years and $40 million total. Cincinnati Bengals defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi intends to sign with the Chicago Bears. The Bears are giving Ogunjobi a 3-year, $40.5 million deal, including $26.35 million guaranteed, I believe, and I hope I said his name correctly. Free agent quarterback Mitchell Trubisky plans to sign a 2-year contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. No details in regards to the financial agreement made there. But again, Mitchell Trubisky now going to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it looks like. There goes my theory about Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But again, with Jimmy Garoppolo getting the surgery, can't throw for another, 3.5 months. Kind of not surprised. That really makes you not want to sign a guy when he can't even throw for another 3.5 months. Also, we've got a deal. Rams offensive tackle Joe Noteboom is getting a deal worth up $47.5 million. That includes $25 million guaranteed. It's a 3-year extension for the 2018 third-round pick, who appears likely to move into a starting role for the defending Super Bowl champs. Panthers release A.J. Bowie. That clears $3.5 million in cap space for them. The Arizona Cardinals have agreed to a 3-year contract with James Conner, keeping the running back who led the team in rushing last season with the franchise. The deal is worth $21 million, including $13.5 million fully guaranteed, and could grow to a maximum of $25.5 million. I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't really commented on any of these deals because I haven't really seen too much that makes me say, but this one right here, bad deal. There's a reason why Pittsburgh got off Conner. There's a reason why Conner couldn't play the full season last year with the Cardinals. That is his Achilles heel. He cannot stay healthy. He is not worth the money. Yes, he has some nice games, but when you add that to the fact that he can't play a full season and there are games where he all but disappears and doesn't produce anything, doesn't make him worth this kind of money. I think that's a bad deal by the Cardinals. But then again, that's the Cardinals, making bad deal after bad deal after bad deal after bad deal. That's why the Arizona Cardinals are the Arizona Cardinals. The Cleveland Browns have released wide receiver Jarvis Landry. Am I surprised? Not really. He had a bad year last year. However, Landry's not the problem. Much like Odell Beckham, he's going to go somewhere else. He's going to flourish. He's going to do well, and then they're going to discover it's their quarterback. For the Browns, that's the problem. It's not the wide receiver room. Dolphins. Miami added free agent running back Chase Edmonds to its backfield on Monday. Edmonds agrees to a 2-year, $12.6 million contract. Tampa Bay Buccaneers free agent guard Alex Kappa intends to sign a 4-year, $40 million deal with the Cincinnati Bengals after free agency opens up on Wednesday. The Miami Dolphins and defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah have agreed on a 4-year, $65 million deal. Bengals have notified Drew J. Rosenhaus that they are tendering restricted free agent offensive lineman Fred Johnson at $2.433 million. So lots of moves. Still more to go. NFC South rivals, the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints, will meet with Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson over the next 48 hours. Again, now with the revelations that he's not going to get criminal charges filed against him, a lot of teams are looking at Deshaun Watson. These aren't the only 2 teams, obviously, that are interested in Deshaun. However, Deshaun Watson going to be meeting with the Panthers and with the Saints. If he lands in either one of those teams, he's going to make both of them instantly better. He'd be better off with the Saints than Carolina. I think that Carolina has a lot more work to do because they're too Christian McCaffrey heavy. And I don't believe in that defense being consistent, and I don't think that they have a wide receiver room that's going to be good enough for Deshaun Watson. They'd have to do a lot of work, and I think they're going to overspend on Deshaun Watson, but we'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. Tyler Larson expected to sign a contract with Washington today. Larson injured his Achilles last season, but was a valuable backup center. And then, of course, the Falcons, they're securing their starting left tackle, Jake Matthews. The Packers released linebacker Smith and guard Turner. They're doing whatever they can. I told you it was going to be a fire sale. Now that you gave all the money to one player, Aaron Rodgers, the greediest guy in the NFL, arguably, without a doubt, now you're going to have to let a lot of people go, and you're going to have to try and figure out how to save money, and then you're going to have to try and figure out how to do this little mini rebuild just to keep the Packers halfway as good as they were last year. Again, big mistake giving the bag to Aaron Rodgers, especially when they were in the financial bend that they were already in before they offered the bag to Aaron Rodgers. The Packers, again, are releasing Zadaria Smith and Billy Turner, and the release saves the Packers $15.75 million in salary cap space, and I think huge mistake. The Bills are signing center Mitch Morse on a 2-year, $19.5 million extension, and Preston Smith, who had 1 year and $12.5 million left on his existing deal, signed a 4-year deal worth $52.5 million with the Green Bay Packers. The Bills released Darrell Williams and open over $6 million in cap space. Veteran quarterback Brian Hoyer has reached an agreement on a 2-year contract to return to the New England Patriots. The deal's worth $4 million with $3 million guaranteed and incentives. Center Ryan Jensen has agreed to a 3-year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's see what we got here. Tom Brady's retirement. Obviously, we know he's back. The Minnesota Vikings on Sunday agreed to terms on a new contract with quarterback Kirk Cousins, by the way. I really don't understand why they did this deal. It's given them an immediate raise and also fully guaranteeing an additional season in 2023 to help alleviate their tight salary cap. I think this is a bad move, another bad move, because he is getting a $35 million extension. And I think sticking with Kirk Cousins, he hasn't been able to do it so far. Maybe it's the system, maybe a new place would be better for him. I would be all for another team taking Kirk Cousins and seeing what they could do with him. I think Minnesota has seen what they could do with him. It's just not going to work. I get it. You got a new head coach. Still don't see why you're giving him an extension. I would have kept things the way they were, and I would have made this a prove-it year for him. To give him an extension, that's where I think the mistake is. Staying with him for another year would have made sense if you just would have left everything alone. Giving him an extension and putting a coach who's brand new in a bind where he now also has to stay with Kirk Cousins, and it's the same problem you created for the previous coach. Bad management on behalf of the Vikings. Bad management. Tight end Zach Ertz, who was traded to the Arizona Cardinals from Philadelphia last season, agreed to terms on a 3-year contract to stay with the new club. He's going to get $31.65 million with $17.5 million guaranteed. The Dallas Cowboys have finalized a 5-year, $62.5 million deal with wide receiver Michael Gallup. Again, overpaying for a guy who underproduces for that kind of cash. Wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie, who was set to become an unrestricted free agent this week, agreed to terms on a new 2-year deal to stay with the Buffalo Bills. Devin McCourty is returning to the New England Patriots for his 13th season. We all know Dallas Cowboys traded Amari Cooper to the Cleveland Browns over the weekend, and the Atlanta Falcons are restructuring quarterback Matt Ryan's contract, lowering the $48,662,500 cap hit he was initially going to be for the 2022 season by $12 million. And the New York Giants starting middle linebacker Blake Martinez will return for the 2022 season. And we all know about Deshaun Watson. We don't need to talk about that again. Max Crosby agreed to a multi-year extension with the Raiders on Friday. It's a 4-year, $98.98 million deal with $95 million in new money and $53 million guaranteed. And then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys have released kicker Greg Zuerlein and tight end Blake Jarwin. The Philadelphia Eagles and Jason Kelce have agreed to a new $14 million contract. I thought that the talk about Jason Kelce was he might actually retire this year. Obviously, that's not happening. The Chicago Bears are releasing running back Tarek Cohen. And the Houston Texans are signing linebacker Christian Kirksey to a 2-year extension. The Chicago Bears are finalizing a trade that will send 6-time Pro Bowl defensive end Khalil Mack to the LA Chargers. Everybody's been talking about that for a while. Look, I don't know why everybody is so sold on the Chargers. Khalil Mack going to the Chargers is not going to be a difference maker. I'm sorry. It's not that big of a deal, and it's not going to make that defense a stout defense just because Khalil Mack's there. You have to ask yourself, why is somebody so good getting let go by multiple teams? You have to ask yourself that. He's not a difference maker. The New York Giants wide receiver Sterling Shepard is returning on a reworked 1-year deal, and the Washington Commanders are expected to release veteran safety Landon Collins. And the Tennessee Titans announced the release of Pro Bowl guard Rodgers Saffold. Saffold had a 4-year, $44 million contract with the Titans in 2019. The Detroit Lions have informed outside linebacker Trey Flowers that he will be released next week when the league starts the new year, which is on Wednesday. And the Indianapolis Colts are trading quarterback Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders. We talked about that last week as well. And we know Jordan Hicks, was released from the Arizona Cardinals. So those are pretty much all the moves that have been made so far. Obviously, there will be a lot more coming. Sit back, max, relax, folks, because, again, we're not even close to being done with all the deals that are in the works. There's a lot of stuff happening. The biggest one everybody's going to be watching for is what happens with Deshaun Watson, who's going to sign him, what's the term of the deal going to be, what's a team going to have to give up to get Deshaun Watson. Obviously, that is going to bring a lot of attention, and everybody is going to be watching what takes place. like crazy. I, of course, will be one of them. All right, so that's going to do it for today's show. We got a lot to talk about, but we're just out of time for today. We'll get back at it tomorrow. This is Yay or Nay Show with Alex C.